SIM card with the phone number that I use the most is in the Android phone. But I have the iPhone because there's so many things, I have to be familiar with both worlds, but there's so many things that are just a little bit better on the iPhone.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Welcome to the live podcast from around the world. Live. This is the Cosmos Diaries podcast show. Presented by the Travelogue team.
What's up guys, welcome to our Cosmos Diary podcast where we discuss general topics such as movies, films, tech and etc. anything which influences the world in a big way. So our today's topic is Android versus iOS, how each have their own benefits, how each have their own deficiencies, how each of them impact our world in a big way, and at the end of the day we are looking at which is like more efficient in our work and which is actually helping us more, because I feel like iOS has much more an environment nature, like it can connect to all the devices and you don't actually have to check for device compatibility compared to Android. But yeah, people can have different opinions. What do you guys think, Aditya? What do you think? Is Android better or iOS better?
Actually, for me, I would have to say Android is better because my dad.
Yeah.
I've used both the systems. I've used iOS and Android, and personally, I'm not a fan of iOS because you know why? As an Android user, I can easily download any app, which is a paid one in Play Store, for free basically as an APK.
iOS doesn't have like restricted apps. Like
basically iOS restricts my activity, and I feel like there's too much going on here and there. But Android, on the other hand, I feel like I have my own level of customization when it comes to certain things.
Yeah, I mean, I think iOS is more about order. Like in order to have something, you have to give something. So it's basically an exchange. In Android, you have the specific features, but then you don't have the other specific features that you get in iOS specifically. That's what I feel.
Yeah. That is true, Ahmad. But I don't know. Personally, Android, right? I mean, I can there are certain restrictions when it comes to iOS. Like if you want to download an app, tell me, please.
Yeah. So which one do you think will be like more efficient in your work, like which is actually helping in your life? Like to organize it, to help it in your certain, like we use the smartphone for literally everything now. It's basically a extended version of us now. So what do you guys, Shreyas and Aditya, what do you guys think? Like how is it affecting you guys in your work life? And like which one will be better? What do you think?
I think for daily usage and productivity, I think iOS software is a bit better than Android because Android, the system differs from one to another because even the specs, right? Like it differs. If I use a device which is a Snapdragon, I think the lowest model or like MediaTek Dimensity, right? The latest chip.
Yeah.
So if we use a lower type of those chips, and when we use that in an Android, the system differs because we don't get the speed and efficiency like an iOS device. Because in iOS device,
power is much different.
Yeah, the chip.
I mean, the way I see it, there's two scenarios. If I'm like going to work and I want to get my things done, definitely iOS. But if I'm like a casual person, I prefer working from my home and doing my daily tasks. I would certainly prefer Android.
Aditya, I think you would say casual people actually go to work. So I don't know.
That is true, Imad, but
I think Apple is more about simplistic nature, whereas Android is more about styles. Like we have seen this trend in real life. We have people who are much more simplistic in nature.
iOS devices are like morely like what do I say? It's like a status symbol for a person.
Yes, exactly. I was coming to that, Shreyas.
Yeah, if you could
iOS
achieve
is
an
very
iOS
expensive.
device, that means you have achieved something great.
Yes,
Like an
it's
Apple
not something
product.
everyone can afford, right?
Yeah,
But
that's
Android,
Yeah.
there's Android devices for every different segment. Like For the middle, there's mid, there's high, there's low end. So there's variety of options to choose from.
Yeah, exactly.
And even
But
in
at the same time,
if you go to the US
you can't
market,
ignore the specs they give the iOS devices. Like Leaf phones, we have Apple, iMacs and all. They have much better specs than other laptops, which we are currently seeing.
yeah.
Even yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
Their latest chips are very powerful, like the M2
the
chip. which
M1,
was-
M2 chips, right?
Yeah, correct.
The Apple produced chips.
Yeah. I think
They're
the
actually,
I think the M3 generation is coming, right? Coming.
yeah, it's in development, but it will come soon.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah,
I mean, even when it comes to laptops or computers, I would have to say I prefer Windows, because Windows is just like Android when it comes to
Yeah, exactly. Windows,
computers and laptops, right?
Yep.
So I'm not very used to the Apple ecosystem. So like once I purchase an Apple product, I will have to buy other Apple products as well. Like let's say I got an iPhone, I'll have to get a MacBook and then an AirPod, right? Because it's best experienced in an Apple product.
Yeah.
But whereas on an Android or Windows, I don't have to restrict myself to anything, right?
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Because see, while buying a single Apple product, you won't be satisfied without having all their ecosystem products.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, and
They have to
in
buy
Android,
6 products in their
it's not a yeah. In Android, you don't need that because there are different companies and products out there. So it's your wish to have any of those products.
That's absolutely true, Shreyas. More variety, more options, more prices. Overall, I think I see a clear winner here, and that's Android for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. And
So I guess we all agree that
see,
Android
Yeah,
is
but
a bit
what
better
do you
than
guys think? What do you guys think? I mean, I understand Aditya's point of view. You have more choice, but how is it gonna help you? Like, maybe it gives you freedom of choice, I guess. But
Yeah, exactly.
doesn't make
And
any
as a
difference.
consumer, Imad, that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, but why? The question is why. Can you elaborate?
Yeah, sure, certainly. Because, first of all, I think I mentioned before, right? Like I can download any apps that I want. That's one big plus point for me. Any paid apps
Yeah.
for free, Android. Whereas in
But-
iOS, I'll have to jailbreak, right?
I mean, you can download
that's
many
right.
apps. You can download any apps, but the work done in iOS is the same work which will be done in Android. The end result is gonna be the same. So I don't think it will make much difference.
It might not, but the experience I get on both the devices is completely different, right? The Android ecosystem is very different from the Apple
Yeah.
ecosystem.
I think we can
So,
say experience is
Yeah,
different.
and I feel like Apple has a certain level of restriction to its devices, right? It restricts the user to just the ecosystem. Whereas Android, let's say I root my device, I completely change it. I can make it similar to an iOS device. I think there is something which you can do, right? To make
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
you
You could
could-
you
you
could
could
root your
all-
phone and
Change
input
the
any
concept.
software. Yeah.
Yeah, so I can like that level of customization is just not available in Apple, and also another thing is the Android paths, right? Like in a phone, Android phone, the paths are much easily available than Apple, and it's more cheaper also. I mean, Apple devices, the paths might be easily available, but the thing is, it's very expensive because Apple products are like not for
Also, they
not
have
for
a
everyone.
monopoly on it. Like if you destroy a part, you have to exchange the entire phone, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
And
not it.
their updates,
Yeah.
their constant updates. It's been proven that they tend to slow down the phone.
Yeah,
Most of
exactly.
them, they do that purposefully, right?
I mean, there have been reports, Apple actually kind of puts error in their phones so that their sales would increase. Like it will only last for 2 years, and after that, the phones would have to be thrown because they are of no use now.
Exactly. But then again, I get why people like Apple because it's more safe. I would say it's more safe than Android. That's definitely one plus point of Apple. And they keep their promise. They deliver on what they promise. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, and
I have
if
to
you-
agree with this
yeah,
point.
you have seen their like when they try to introduce a new like a product or something, no, you have seen their number of views they get on YouTube, right? It's the hype
Yeah,
you won't get in any other launch of any new product, even Samsung or
absolutely.
Google.
You're 100% right, Shreyas. I don't think there's any other
The
brand
hype
on
was
this
generated
planet
by
which
Steve Jobs,
has more reach and more, brand awareness than Apple has. They are simply the leaders when it comes to the smartphone segment, in my opinion, and marketing. I mean,
even
Apple's
yeah.
marketing is just on another level.
Yeah, and they have recently opened their new stores in Delhi and Mumbai also.
Yeah, and in BKC, right?
Yeah.
For Android or Apple?
For Apple.
Apple.
First
Apple, right?
official store.
Yeah.
I think
I
one
mean,
was in Mumbai.
Speaking of
one
marketing,
was in Delhi.
Apple wasn't really a marketing genius long before Steve Jobs came.
Yeah.
And he was the real, stepping stone for Apple. That's what I
I mean,
think.
absolutely. I mean, the company was founded by Steve Wozniak and Steve Jobs, right?
Yeah.
After they quit Atari and they took a year break and then they decided to enter the segment.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, Apple, the impact that Apple has had on smartphones is like huge. I mean, the reason why touchscreen smartphones exist today is because of iPhone. When Steve Jobs announced in 2007.
Yeah, I mean, leave smartphones. The impact it has on computers as a whole is also like huge. Because before we didn't have computers in each house,
Yeah.
Steve Jobs was the one who actually generalized the idea, the computer for one, computer for all. So he's the one who actually brought this laptop idea,
Yeah. So I would have to say without iOS, there would have been no Android, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
So we have to respect both the sides. And that's the only way it can go, right? We need both.
Yeah. It's like iOS is the ideal version, whereas Android is the much more updated, and it's like I don't know, like you have a Sonic game and then you have Sonic.exe, right? So Android is like the other version. Yeah, we can say that.
Yeah.
I mean, if there was only one product in the market, just iOS, I mean, the market would be dull, right? It would just be monopoly of one particular product. When we have both of these products, it's much more better. People have better options, and they can look for. They don't have to restrict themselves to one particular item. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, speaking of Apple, I feel like it will be like an organization. In Wall-E, you have an organization which is like controlling the entire spaceship.
Yeah.
I feel like Apple will be an organization similar to that in future.
It's already one of the biggest companies in the world, right? So I don't
about
think
big. It's about uniformity, Like they all wore the same uniform. They didn't have anything. They all wore this. They all drank the same juice. There wasn't any diversity.
Yeah, it's true. You could see that in the US market, especially.
Yeah,
most of the people are into the Apple space, and if they see you walking with an Android device, they just like, I don't know, they don't even like you like that.
I mean, last year there was a feud, right, between blue bubble and green bubble, because it's basically US has like the messaging app they use is not WhatsApp. It shows
this thing, right?
And for Android it's blue bubble. So green bubble users were like furious that they can't message blue bubble users and they have to like download some specific stuff, and also they were like all furious. And blue bubble users felt inferior to the green bubble ones because it was like Apple, and also it was kind of like a status thing, like how Shreyas told before. In US it's more of a status thing,
Yeah. This was about that iMessage thing, right?
Yeah, exactly that thing. Yeah. It was in 2022, right? If I'm not wrong.
I haven't seen that news, so I'm not sure about it.
I guess it was 2022.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then.
But I still think the level of innovation that Apple has, I think it's unparalleled to any other company.
That's true.
Right now.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Whenever they release a product on the market, all the other companies start following it. Like, I'll give an example. Remember when Apple released the iPhone without a headphone jack?
Yeah.
And then all the other companies started. Pretty much soon, like every other company started ditching the headphone jack, right?
I mean, it's not an innovation. It's a marketing strategy,
It is. I mean, but anytime they bring a product, it causes a certain change in the market. Like when iPhone 10 was released, iPhone X, right? When it was released, pretty much almost all the Chinese smartphone makers started copying the the notch, right? The iconic notch of iPhone X. So the impact it has on other companies is huge, and we as a consumer also, get indirectly or directly affected because of that.
Yeah, true. Even the removal of the charging brick.
Yeah, that is. I hate that decision, but
still
that was
it's
a
a
risky
controversial.
move on Apple. That was like it infuriated a lot of people.
Yeah, even the
So,
latest one,
like,
right? Even the EU Council thingy, like where they had to comply to the USB-C type charging port.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good thing. So congratulations EU on that. That's a very good decision because I was
But
getting very tired
yeah,
of
but
buying just the Apple
still you can't.
cables, right?
Yeah, you can't charge with a USB Type-C cable from a
You
normal
can't.
Android cable. Yeah, you can't. Yeah, like it has kept a sensor where it will check the particular Apple. No, it will only verify Apple product charging cables. It's like some type of system they have kept. I don't know.
Yeah, I do not like this monopoly business that Apple tries to do. That's not a good thing.
Yeah, that's
I mean, Apple actually kind of is, testing the limit of the audience up till where they're gonna take it,
Yeah, I have to agree with you.
And I think they're on the edge, like they're literally on the edge because a lot of people, even the Apple users, are not very happy with the decisions they're taking lately. They're they're kind of on the edge.
And like the prices, they're not reducing the prices. They're constantly increasing the prices, especially for we Indians. I mean, Apple is still a very luxury product, right? Like, it's not everyone can afford it.
Yeah.
Even for the US citizens, it is kind of a luxury product.
That's why people. That's why
and
people,
our currency is kind of weaker than US dollar, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of more expensive.
But the thing is, we as Indians, our per capita earning is much less than an average US citizen, right? So for us, we need like a 6 month saving to buy an Apple product. But whereas for an American, maybe a monthly salary would be enough for him to buy an iPhone, right?
Not even month.
Not a lot.
I think even 10 days is enough for them.
Yeah, 10 or 15 day salary is enough for them.
Yeah.
But for us, we need to save a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I just don't think it's worth it, saving 6 months worth of salary just to buy an iPhone.
True.
I don't think it's
or that you have that much per capita income.
Yeah.
If you're a billionaire, you can buy.
Yeah, true. That's why that's why people just move on to an Android device, because there are various price ranges in Android devices, and people can like buy whatever they need, which is their specification, which is needed and stuff. And I think Apple should take note of this because it might affect them in future. I'm not saying it won't affect them.
Dude, Apple's gonna sue you.
I'll let them sue, because there are many people who talk about this and still
if
they
Apple
don't do
sues you,
anything.
Shreyas, you are gonna counter sue them for everything you have. Okay, you're gonna get the money back from them.
I don't use an Apple product, so I don't care.
Yeah.
I'll support you if they sue you. Okay, I'll help you.
Yeah,
out.
even I'm supporting you.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
I guess we guys went a bit off topic. What were you guys talking about? I think we were guys talking about Apple.
We're
Android
talking about
versus
iOS and Android. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh god. See, the hardware and the performance of an iOS device is always great. And you've seen the camera, right? It's the best in class.
Yeah.
And that's the one of the main selling point of an iOS device. And the latest Android device, which is now very close to it, is that Samsung S23 Ultra, and it's only close, not even same in the league also. So I think their main selling point is one of that, and even the security, as mentioned by you both, Himal, Aditya. Securities are very their forefront is security. Like the features like the biometric scan and stuff. And because my friend uses an iPhone, and it's very accurate with that biometric scan of a face and all, it's very much accurate. And I think the encryption too, right? Yeah.
Suppose your face changes, you're doomed for life. Your phone is locked for your life.
But the thing is, Shreyas, would I be wanting to spend like thousands of dollars on an Apple product rather than just paying less than half, maybe for a less better version of Apple? Maybe not even that good, but maybe like half as good as an Apple product, and be satisfied. I can do that, right? Like,
I mean,
let's say
Yeah,
a
you
Xiaomi
could.
product.
There
Yeah.
are many
that's
options, right?
about the
For like,
mentality, right? That's about the
So
mentality.
in that way, I mean, especially we as Indians, we look for value for money in products, right? And
Yeah, exactly.
even if we spend like 1.5 lakhs on an Apple product, a lot of us will not be satisfied with the result, right? And so it's better if I just spend 20k or 15k on a Chinese, maybe not a Chinese phone, maybe like a good Samsung phone,
Android.
and be happy, right?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
would be happy. I think this an Apple product is a status symbol for like many businessmen, individuals, celebrities, actors,
You know,
and stuff.
I just remembered a famous quote.
Yeah.
An Apple day keeps a Samsung consumer away.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's a bit weird.
I know. I read it out, later on. If you
Okay.
else not. But
Okay.
yeah, I mean, exactly like how Aditya was saying, right? It's more about perspective, like what a person wants. Sometimes you have like, high expectations from your phone, like you want your phone to do certain tasks which you want all the time, or sometimes you're just, like it's kind of a casual thing. You just want a social media, you just want to take some few pictures, that's it. So I guess for those purposes, buying an Apple phone is not really efficient, like you're
Yeah.
wasting so much money and you're not really getting the fruit that you actually load the seed for.
Yeah.
And guys, I definitely would not suggest you to buy any Chinese phones. Buy some
Yeah.
other good
I
brands
mean, not
instead.
Yeah, you
Chinese
could.
definitely, but like,
Samsung,
some
Nokia or
middle
something,
quality
you know?
things, yeah.
Yeah, Samsung, Nokia, Motorola. I use a Motorola. It's good because it uses the Google.
But I think
Like,
yes, Motorola
yeah.
is owned by Lenovo, right? Which is a Chinese company.
Yeah, that
But
you could
Lenovo
argue.
as a whole is a good company, like
Yeah,
I don't
see,
know
because
Lenovo is pretty
you
good.
should like just label it as Chinese.
yeah,
I
See,
mean,
Motorola-
I
yeah,
would not
see,
even mind buying
Motorola is a
micro
US
packs
company
or
actually.
product carbon or stuff like that. They're not bad. I think you should buy like locally made products as well. Like Samsung, which is made in India, or like you should support the local companies. I personally feel.
I mean,
Even
are you
iPhone is
talking about the
made.
local
Even
companies
iPhone is
such
made.
as are you talking about the
Yeah.
local companies such as
I've heard iPhone is going to be manufactured locally in our
Yeah, it
country.
is
I mean,
manufactured in
hopefully.
Bangalore. or
Hopefully it'll be
Chennai.
cheaper, and hopefully everyone will be able to afford it. Maybe
I
they'll
mean,
bring
that's
down
how
the
MNCs
pricing.
work, right? They just manufacture in cheaper countries and then they sell it in their own like higher place countries.
Yeah, true. Even like they do with cars. See, there are sometimes car manufacturers they set up factories like especially in India. Hyundai is a Korean company.
Yeah.
They have their
Yes.
factory in Chennai where they bring out the product, like the materials, and they just assemble it over here. So it's much cheaper than importing a car directly, which is called
I
as
mean, just
CB
imagine.
unit.
Just imagine you're in contacts with the person who's actually manufacturing it, and you get the product beforehand, much cheaper, and then the same product goes to US and is sold like 10 times the price.
Yeah, true.
It's technically the same price. I mean, same quality, So yeah.
There are good, like see, Motorola is actually a US product, not Chinese. Like if
I do
as
know
app,
that.
huh?
Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, they're one of the first companies who found the telephone that we use.
Yeah,
right?
that's
the
what.
normal phone. Yeah.
They were the game changers in the mobile industry.
Yeah, absolutely.
Still.
So they were the OG Apple.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can say that. Yeah.
And they were used to known for their durability and stuff. Even my phone, okay, I think it's now almost going to be a year, kind of. No, yeah, it's 6 months, but it's good. It's because it uses stock Android, like mostly used in Google phones and stuff. Google Android. Yeah, so it uses the stock Android, and the battery life is okay, but the durability is good because
Motorola is definitely a good phone.
Yeah.
My sister used to use a Motorola, and it's really smooth. It's very easy to browse through everything. It's
Yeah,
it's
true.
very good. I would definitely recommend Motorola.
And see, my phone is not even that expensive, but it has 144 hertz refresh rate. which is I
Yeah.
think the highest in any budget phone you get.
Yeah.
See, and it's like what, less than half the price of an Apple product, right?
Yeah, true. It's like
Yeah.
quarter of the price.
So it's definitely more worth it in my eyes. I don't know about others, but I would definitely prefer a Motorola over an Apple.
Yeah, true. Or any other Android device, to say.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So.
But remember, Mr. Beast won't give you any Samsung.
That we can't say.
Okay.
It's his wish.
A trick question for you guys.
Yeah.
Suppose one of these influencers like Mr. Beast gives you an iPhone. Are you going to return it back to him, saying I want an Android phone?
I won't.
I would ask
because
him.
it's
Yeah, I would actually.
actually you
You're
would.
gonna return.
You would? That's interesting.
Wow, dude.
Actually, because I don't like
That's
iPhone.
a-
I'll
that's
ask
a
him,
tough
can I
one.
exchange this iPhone for like a Galaxy Fold or something? You know?
Okay.
I mean, the guy is giving you something and you are gonna demand him.
I mean, he gave me the phone, right? So I mean, I think I have an option as well, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, like, I mean, if you're giving me some gift, at least buy me something which I will like, right?
Exactly, that's the
what
thing. That I agree 100%.
I like
You're
that
giving
spirit.
give something which you know a person likes rather than
Yeah.
something that person doesn't like and it's completely wasted.
I think I would receive the product and keep it with me because I know how important
You know what
the
I would
Apple
do?
product is. Yeah,
I would just take the product and sell it at a much higher price.
nice. This strategy is good.
Yeah.
So, guys, that wraps up our today's podcast where we have discussed topic. What was the topic?
Android
Android
versus iOS.
That's right. And I would like to thank my co-hosts Imad and Alpia for joining me in this episode of the podcast for sharing their spotlight on the topic discussed today. I hope you guys
Thank
enjoyed
you.
this episode and keep enjoying the coming episodes which will be released later. Till then,
Thank you, guys.
adios,
Thank
amigos.
Thank you
Bye.
guys.
Adios. Bye bye.
Adios. Bye.
Bye.